do not downplay this part. Like I said, you guys have people. What's going to happen is you guys are going to be at the center of whatever you're doing, and people are all going to be turned around looking at you, and they're all going to be quiet, which means this is your shot to tell them about your business.
Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. S.O.B as in small-owned business. I promise we're not calling you guys names. Really quick, before we get started, we just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's listening. If you have any topics that you want us to talk about, please leave them in a comment on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can send us a DM on our social media. You can send us an email at help@theseasonedmarketer.com. We want to talk about whatever you guys want to hear about. And make sure that you send this podcast to all of your small business friends. We are here to help small businesses feel comfortable and confident in their marketing. Vivian, what are we talking about today?
So this topic I'm very excited about because they deal with big ass scissors. Anything that has So I'm joking, but it's true. Okay, so we are talking about ribbon cuttings, and the cool thing about ribbon cuttings is that they are not only really great for your small business, it builds awareness, it lets people know something new that you're doing, but you also get to invite all your family, friends, other businesses in the community, local chamber of commerce, and they bring out those big ass scissors. And you can officially cut a ribbon. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, all the ins and outs. And really, if you haven't done it, there is this little bit of hesitancy sometimes just because you're like, I don't even know what to expect and I don't know how to go about planning it.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, if you don't know what a ribbon cutting is, it's just an event or a celebration for a new beginning for your business. It's where you see people give the speech and they have the ribbon and the big ass scissors like Vivian's talking about, and they cut the ribbon. I'm sure you guys know what we're talking about, but just if you don't know, you can do a ribbon cutting for a grand opening, but you could also do for a new location, a newly renovated location. Like, it doesn't just have to be a grand opening.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that because a lot of times I do think that people only find it appropriate if they're breaking ground on something, if they've officially opened their doors. And also, let me remind you guys that sometimes I actually used to work at a local chamber of commerce, believe it or not. So I kind of know what I'm talking about when I say this, okay? I'm not just like throwing this out there. It doesn't always necessarily have to be the week that you're opening. If you have other stuff going on and you're just like, you're opening a new restaurant and you're just like, all I can manage to think about right now is my staff and all of that. It's okay. You can actually do it maybe 2 weeks out. That way it gives you a little bit of time to settle down, get all of that handled, and then you can do the celebration part of it. So there is no particular time frame. It just has to make sense. Certainly we wouldn't tell you to just have a ribbon cutting for the sake of having the ribbon cutting. It's got to make sense.
Absolutely. And I want to say ribbon cuttings criminally underutilized. So underutilized. And I feel like it's probably because, like, how do I plan one, right? And that's what we want to talk about today, because it looks really difficult. It seems really difficult. This is one of those scenarios that I'm so grateful that you have been a part of the local chamber and you've worked for the Chamber of Commerce, because you can help to explain to people that, one, this is not as difficult as you think it is. And two, this is where being a part of your local chamber is going to be such a useful, like they are a resource that you're going to be able to use specifically for ribbon cutting.
They really are a gem in the community, especially for small business owners, because there is nothing better. We have done many episodes where we're like, networking, do old school this and that. These are all still options, right? So y'all, there's life beyond social media.
Yeah.
And we just want to remind you of that because there is money beyond social media. And so that's the thing. One of the, before we move on to talking about how you go about doing this though, Chelsea, I'm not trying to pitch anybody a ribbon cutting, but what I am saying is if you are a small business owner and you are just about to open your doors, or you have recently renovated, or you have now a new partnership with somebody. So let's say you're a boutique and now you're going to be carrying a certain line of skincare and it's a big deal, right? You can invite them, you can invite like whoever it is, right, to show and represent this new partnership. This is an opportunity that does not come along every other week.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I want you guys to think of it as I'm capitalizing on something that my business is going through, and I'm able to, like Chelsea said, what better photo op do you have than having all of these people standing in front of your small business? And most of the time they do get some government officials out there with you. And then the big scissors, and then cutting the big ass scissors, the, ribbon with the big ass scissors.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it lives in perpetuity as far as you're able to share it on Facebook. Think about, I could go Facebook Live. I can have one of my employees do a Facebook Live while it's happening in real time, them standing there like, So these are all things that you can definitely turn into a much bigger opportunity than just, hey, let's have a little celebration.
Exactly. And okay, we're kind of flip-flopping right now. I want to go back to chamber. I did some research for the Somerville Chamber of Commerce because I wanted to see, do you have to be a part of the chamber to have them help you? You don't actually. So specifically for the Somerville Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so this is Somerville, but
Somerville, South Carolina, y'all.
Sorry. That's a good point. Somerville, South Carolina. This is South Carolina. For new members, so members who just joined, it is $100 for them to help you with your ribbon cutting. Renewing members, so you've been a member with the chamber consistently, there is no fee. And if you are not a member, it is $350. Y'all, they will help you plan it. They will try to find a local official member of the government, local government, all that stuff. They will call the news. They will help you throughout this entire process for at the most $350.
Girl, are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious. I looked it up.
Because the thing is, let me tell you, back in the day, whenever I was working at the chamber, and y'all, just so you kind of like put it in perspective, I came out of college and I was looking for a marketing job, and I ended up like the job market was kind of like, okay. So I ended up going to work for.
When did you graduate?
2005.
Okay, yeah.
And so here's the thing is that was probably the best thing that happened to me, because when I think what that started was my affinity for small businesses and small business owners. And I would not be the person I am today had I not had that job to actually witness what actual small business owners go through. But back in those times, so I think it was around 2005, 2006 when I started working there, it was only an option for people that were chamber members. So this is interesting, y'all. Look at this. Over time, even the local chamber of commerce starts to change and morph the way that they're in the services that they're offering to people. Okay. So they saw an opportunity, and what better way for them, once they knock it out of the park and help you with a really great ribbon cutting, to then come back and say, hey, by the way, we helped you with the ribbon cutting, join the chamber. Because we got a bunch of other stuff we can help you do too.
Absolutely. And I know $350 is a lot, but it's also not, right? like $350, you can get the mayor out there. Like, they'll help you with the ribbon. You can pick the color of your ribbon. They'll bring the big ass scissors. Like, I was actually really impressed. I was like, that is a great deal. And you don't have to be a member. Yeah.
What I love about that too is, I don't know if you guys, okay, do me a favor, open up Facebook or Instagram, and I want you guys to find your local Chamber of Commerce, like their social media page. Scroll through there. Guarantee you at some point you're going to scroll upon a picture of a ribbon cutting. So what I'm saying is it not only allows you to share it on your socials, but it allows them. And so those are new eyeballs, people that aren't following you or that are following them. And if you're in a tight-knit community, like I know here in Monk's Corner where I live, they opened a restaurant, and giving you a perfect example of no time frame. They opened a restaurant, they had a soft launch, then they opened the doors, and then I think like 3 weeks later, they had their official ribbon cutting. They just had it last week, and they've been open for a little while because they knew their priorities. We have to get the restaurant, staff in place. We have to make sure that they're serving the customers correctly. We want all that running on, all cylinders, and then we can do the celebration. Plus, guarantee you they had way more people at that ceremony than they would if they were just doing it when they opened their doors.
Absolutely. Okay. So I feel like we talked a lot about the chamber. If you don't want to go to your local chamber, we'll go through all of the steps and all of the nitty-gritty things that you need to think about for creating a ribbon cutting. It does not have to be a big, huge event if you don't want it to be. Why would you not want it to be? But just saying. So
they said go big or go home.
Exactly. Look, man, small business owners, like, this is your baby, right? You want it to be big. You want to get it in front of as many people as possible. So the first thing you got to think of is where and when. And we've touched on this already a bunch. You don't have to do it as soon as you open. If anything, you probably don't want to. You probably want to make sure you have everything running smoothly as possible before you have that big ceremony.
Yeah, and some people, I mean, I think it's all just comfort. There are some people that really will do it on the first day that they're opening, and it's kind of like they do this thing, and I think if you do it correctly, let's say you're Publix, okay? You're Publix, and you're opening up. I know when I lived in my old neighborhood, we didn't have a close grocery store. It was 20 minutes to any grocery store. So when one opened up right across the street from the neighborhood, people were chomping at the bit. For something like that, it would make sense to do a ribbon cutting as you open the doors, because it's kind of like it's a moment. It's, hey, the ribbon, no one's allowed inside until the ribbon is officially cut. Once the ribbon's cut, then people are allowed to come in, start buying, and doing all the thing. So it really is just dependent on what your small business is, what you want to do, and really what you're comfortable with. We don't want to give you more anxiety over something that really is not something y'all should be worrying about.
Absolutely. I do, really quick. I live closer to Nexton, like closer to the Nexton part of Somerville. I'm not trying to triangulate myself, but I don't want people to know where I live. I don't want to say far away from grocery stores, but like I only had one that was nearby. They just opened that Harris Teeter. Huge. It was such a big deal that they opened that Harris Teeter. And that Harris Teeter, if you haven't been in it, it is nice. They have a bar inside the Harris Teeter.
Well, Miss Karen Romano was saying that she goes and has a happy hour at Harris Teeter sometimes. So apparently it's the place to be.
Tim and I were grocery shopping this past weekend. And while we were there, we were waiting in line for the deli. And the guy behind me, he pulls up. He's like, man, this line's long. I'm going to go get a beer. Do you want one? I was like, no, I'm good. But which then Tim was like, what do you mean you're good? Like, you just turned down free alcohol? Are you okay?
That's hilarious. So not to make it about this conversation, because we are focused on the ribbon cuttings, but there was something that you said that really struck me. You were talking about how everyone was super excited about it. It was almost like this climax, right? And I know that it was because you can do the same thing if you're a small business, all right? If your business is the only one in your community of that kind, why would you not kind of start teeing it up for people, right? Or start to get them excited. One of the ways you could do that is in Facebook groups. You could use yard signs or banners just to say like coming soon.
𝘸𝘱𝘳𝘬𝘦𝘵𝘪𝘳 sent out postcards.
Yeah, postcards. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. So I love how all of this, and Chelsea, you always say this, it's like all connected, right? It's full circle. So all of this is connected, but okay, so you have to choose the date and the location. Okay.
Yes. Which the location is probably your store, but
Yeah, well, okay, so let me tell you something else that was interesting. At the chamber, what they used to do, and I'm not sure, you guys, for any of this stuff, just know that every chamber of commerce runs differently. So please reach out to your local one that you're thinking about joining or are a member of to just verify what we're saying. But back in the day, whenever online businesses weren't as prevalent as they are now, so back in 2005, 2006, when we had a business that didn't have a storefront or a location, what we used to do is we would offer them the chamber boardroom. So they could still have a ribbon cutting, but they would have it at the chamber instead. And that's sometimes it can be a little harder to navigate because you do have to, I think just remind people like, hey, it's going to be here. It's not at a different location, but it does work. And so if you're like, oh, boo, I'm an online business, still there's opportunity for you there.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you. So my next one is going to be who's invited. If you are not doing an event that's completely open to the public, you don't have to do that. That would probably be great if you were open to the public. But if you wanted to keep it smaller, if you want to just invite the important people for your ribbon cutting, definitely think about inviting an official dignitary. So like the mayor. Definitely you want to have your employees. You want to have your stakeholders. Anyone who's invested in your business should probably be there. Maybe your family, definitely members of the press. So if you're not going to do to everyone, the public, make sure, obviously, yes, your friends, your family, members of the press, the mayor or an official person, and your stakeholders are the important ones because they're the ones that are going to get your name in the press, right? They're the ones who are going to make it more official, your mayor, and they're the ones who are invested in your company. You probably want them to be involved. They're going to want to be involved, right?
Yeah, and if you're wondering, okay, so we did a episode previously on press releases.
Yes.
All right. So to the media, two things. If it's open to the community, that you're letting people off I don't want to say off the streets. Y'all know what I mean, okay? Like if you're letting the community come
Just
and
grab
be
the first person off the street.
yeah, there you go. Anybody writing?
Have them cut the ribbon with the big ass scissors.
Yeah, there you go. But so here's the if it is open to the public, then send the press a press release to tell them about the event. But just know that sometimes they'll be like, oh, hey, yeah, we'll come out to that, right? But I would also send a personal invitation. And by personal invitation, I mean like find someone, a reporter, or send it as a news tip to the local press and then just say like, hey, we'd love to have you guys come out and join us for the celebration or join us for the ribbon cutting. So main point there is just take that extra little step to be sure that you have somebody come out there, whether it's the news station or the newspaper, whatever.
I want to say, if you're sitting here like, Chelsea, how am I supposed to get the mayor out here? Y'all, we're in the internet age, okay? Just send an email. You're going to be able to just do some Google searching, just try to find someone. You'll find their secretary. You'll probably find their email. You'll probably find a couple of emails. Just send it out to everyone. And if you don't want to do that, again, you can use your local chamber and they will probably be able to reach out to all these people.
Yeah, they have a pretty good system in place where I know they'll send an email out because they have people that are kind of like their ambassadors. That's what they
Yeah.
call them. So they'll send emails out to their ambassadors. And part of you being an ambassador of the chamber is that you do commit to going to events like this for that purpose, to support local businesses and also to be sure that they get I don't want to say presence, but, people are coming in there and just helping them with their initiatives.
Yeah.
So, aka support what I just said. So I just kind of like explained it twice, whatever. All right. But what's interesting about that too, Chelsea, is another tip is, let's say the mayor, like for whatever reason, can't make it. They may say like, hey, he's got something on his calendar that morning. Also go to like your county websites. So for example, you could look on the county websites and look for I don't even know what their names are, their titles are, but like, you know what I mean? Like any type of dignitary that's like from the county.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. I keep on saying the mayor, and all I can think about is Bob's Burgers, because I don't know if you watch it, but that's one of my favorite shows. And Linda, the mom, is like obsessed with the mayor. And whenever there's anything to do, she's like, the mayor. It's funny. That's what I feel like right now. I'm like, the mayor.
You're Linda right now with the mayor?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, is Linda from Bob's Burgers? Is she the one with the short hair?
She's the one with the red glasses. Okay, You're thinking of Tina.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking of Tina. Do you love making crafts and working on your small business but struggle to get them in front of customers?
Do craft fairs, events, or pop-ups leave you feeling overwhelmed or frustrated?
Introducing Rock Your Fair, the course designed to help you succeed in the world of craft fairs, pop-ups, and events, created by 2 marketing professionals with over 15 years of experience. Rock Your Fair is perfect for anyone who's new to the game or just wants to step up their game.
Our step-by-step approach will guide you through everything you need to know, from choosing the right events, to setting up your booth, to marketing your products effectively.
And you know what? You'll also get access to us for personalized coaching and feedback so you can put your best foot forward.
Do not let craft fairs, pop-ups, and events hold you back. Sign up for Rock Your Fair today and start rocking your way to success.
For a limited time, get access to our free mini course. Simply head over to our website at www.theseasonedmarketer.com and click on workshops.
I also want to take a second and say, when you are planning a ribbon cutting, you need to know, am I going to be offering refreshments? Will I have snacks, drinks? Is there going to be music? Some people do a DJ. Are you going to take your own photos, or maybe you want to hire a photographer to take photos of the event? Whatever you want to do. These are like the little details, the nitty-gritty that you may not be thinking about because we keep on telling you to get the mayor. But you still need to think about those things because, one, if you're going to offer refreshments, that's going to be part of your budget, right? Like, this is not free money. This is something that you need to think about when you are planning it because it does impact the budget that you have. Same with if you're going to hire a DJ or you're just going to play your Spotify. Things you need to think about.
Yeah, and I do want to make an important distinction here. The chamber does help you. It helps to drive a ton of people there or, as many people as they can there. And they do bring out the ribbon and the scissors and all that. They do not cover the refreshments.
Yes.
So that's something that you have to do on your own. So just understand one of the things, and y'all, one way you can tell I've been doing this a while, whenever somebody says to me, planning a party, that's so fun, I want to punch them in the face because I'm like, clearly you have not planned a party, okay, for professional purposes because it's very time consuming and also stressful. And the stressful part of it for me has always been the food. I don't want people to not be without, or I don't want them to be without food or drink. And so one of the things that you can do is if you are going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony and you are going to offer refreshments and food and you're kind of like me where that creates this level of stress, you can also attach like an RSVP to it. Yeah. Or like hey, let us know that you're coming. And, there are great options now online where you can track stuff like that. Or you guys, it's as simple as doing a Facebook group or a
Yes.
Facebook event.
Yes.
Okay. And so then that way people can just tell you that they're coming. So whatever works for you, or they can old school call you up and say, hey, put me on the list. I'll be there. But just know it's never going to be entirely perfect. There are people that often say they're going to go to things and don't show up. Y'all know the deal. So I think just be prepared for, for that part of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. As someone who is also, I haven't planned as many events as you have, but it's definitely a lot more stressful than people think it is. And food is definitely one of those things.
Even when you were working at the 𝘕𝘧𝘰 place, I know you had, you guys had done stuff for like employee appreciation and just getting all of that, because when you're doing things like that, you just have to know you don't want to leave anybody out, right?
Exactly. Y'all, this is important. Remember, you're going to have to give a speech. Like, this is not just a party and everyone's mingling. Like, this is a ribbon cutting. So you need to get up there and be like, thank you for coming. We're celebrating this and this event. Maybe it's your grand opening. Maybe you've renovated your location. Whatever you're doing, you're going to have to talk about it, right? Like, you have to, it's not just a networking event where people are mingling. You need to talk. You need to give the speech.
And let me frame it a little differently. You guys have a captive audience, as in they have to shut up and listen to whatever you say for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Don't make it 10 minutes. I think that's a little long, but probably 5 to 7 minutes is a sweet spot, or you could be very quick about it. The one thing I do want to say though is do not downplay this part. Like I said, you guys have people. What's going to happen is you guys are going to be at the center of whatever you're doing, and people are all going to be turned around looking at you, and they're all going to be quiet, which means this is your shot to tell them about your business and to basically tell them the story of your business. Okay. And so what I would say is always try to gear it a little bit towards the community. So like, you're there to serve the community, and it's through these services or products that you're doing that. Or if you have a unique story or something like that.
If you're one of the only businesses that offers what you offer, you could say, I'm a member of the community and I noticed that we had this gap in services. So I wanted to be that person to bring this service to you guys, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other part of it too is I think this is an opportunity for you to genuinely make a connection with people, right? So how many of us drive past small businesses without knowing their why? Okay, tell people your why at this point. Like if you are a family-owned business, and let's say that part of the reason you opened the business is because you want something to pass along to your children, then say that, right? Like let them know, the thought process behind that. Because I think it allows you to connect with people in a very different way. And then it kind of makes me want to buy from you, because I'm like, oh, I'd rather have my money going there than Target.
Absolutely. You should always find a way to mention your why. I've told this example before on the podcast, but I'm going to say it again. Not Vivian, you're Vivian, Maya. Maya and I had gone to a market and we were talking with the small business owner. She sold wax melts, and she actually told us the reason that she started creating wax melts is because someone in her family, their house burned down because of a candle. And she was like, well, seeing how a candle could have such an impact, I was like, I don't want people to have candles in their homes. I want them to have wax melts. So she created a wax melt business. Maya and I bought stuff from her because that was such a moving backstory. I was like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have candles in my home too. Let me try out wax melts.
Well, and so that's dual purpose of her sharing that is because like you said, for one, it's to raise awareness that candles can actually burn down your house, which I mean, we all know. However, how many of us have been guilty of leaving a candle on and walking into a different part of our house?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like we don't think much of it. So it's the awareness. And then it's also her why, right? It was such a pivotal point in her life that she's like, hey, I'm going to start offering wax, like melts, because that's just a better way of doing the same thing. Absolutely, Chelsea. I'm glad you brought that story back up because I do think there's as small business owners, sometimes we get so bogged down in the day-to-day operations that we don't think about using these opportunities to make that connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People want to know your why. So definitely make sure you add that in your speech.
All right. So when we're also talking about the speech, this is your opportunity to thank the people you want to thank. If you have family members there that have been an integral part of getting your business up and running, obviously that's important. If you have mentors there, okay, that have helped you along the way, this is a great time to just kind of, point them out and say thank you, all that good stuff. So on top of just being up there and talking about your products and services, also use it as your, genuine thanks to whoever you need to call out. It's kind of like pretend you won Miss America or something. You're like, I'd like to thank. And I would say, just so you know, in my Miss America speech, I'd be like, I'd like to thank Chelsea, since you called me Maya earlier. Or no, no, you did call me Maya. You called Maya Vivian.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. Okay. I want to say, going back to, this is not just a party. This is not just a networking event. People aren't just mingling. You need to give people something to do as well. Like, they're not just going to stand around and wait for you to give a speech. They're going to leave if they don't have anything to do. So you need like a cadence, like a flow of your ribbon cutting. Vivian, can you give us a flow?
Yes. So imagine it. Okay. Chelsea just opened up Chelsea's hot dog bar. Okay. And
A hot dog bar. Oh, you know what? Yes, it's going to be like it's like Subway, but with hot dogs. So we go down the line. Do you want chili on it? Do you want sour cream?
it's funny because I was going to I should have picked a better example because now I'm like, oh crap. Like, how am I going to make this hot dog bar business? How am I going to do this ribbon cutting? Okay. So
Let's see it. Let's see that impressive marketing skills. How are you going to, what's the cadence?
Impressive marketing skills. This is the cadence. It would start, and basically, for one, you would have like some hot dog decorations somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And actually, no. I wouldn't even do hot dog decorations. Do you know what I would do? I would buy one of those hot dog costumes and I would get my husband to dress up in it and I would have him going around. Okay. So that's the photo op. All right.
Okay.
That's the photo op. Get a picture with the hot dog. And okay, so it starts. And then what you want to do is have refreshments. Now, obviously, if it was in the morning time, I wouldn't have hot dogs. Maybe some fruits, stuff.
Oh, you could do pigs in a blanket.
Okay. Oh, perfect, Chelsea. Great. Teamwork makes the dream work. Pigs in a blanket. We're going to do pigs in a blanket for morning. Some, fruit, whatever. If they want to do a little fruit cut, maybe, I don't know, something else, whatever. So it's in the morning time. We have refreshments. We have some snacking that they can do. But then what we want to do is at some point, like tell them, hey, have you checked out because there's a display of everything that we have available. And so what I would do is be sure that every topping that we have that could go on a hot dog is listed on there, right? So tell them the process. Maybe have a foam board that says, this is how you build your hot dog. Choose the bun, choose the base. Here are all the things, but try to create like a kind of like a little flow or make it fun in some way. So that way they can like see what the actual process is. The other thing is I would maybe offer some type of like have a QR code somewhere that gives them maybe a discount for their first purchase or gets them on an email list that gives them points or something like that, right? So you start to create kind of like this like loyalty program or something. All right. So then comes the time where, you're talking to people about this and that, and then ribbon cutting time, you guys walk outside and then you do your speech. Chelsea's doing her best Linda impression. It's
the
mayor. And thank you for coming, this and that. I want to give a big shout out.
I'm going to give a shout out to Maya. Wait, no, Vivian.
To my big sister who encouraged me.
Are you good?
Yes, oh my God. It's just too funny.
Okay.
What encouraged me to open this hot dog shop? Well,
Try again. Start over. Start over my speech.
I can't. Why don't you start your speech?
Okay. So my speech is thank you everyone for coming. I noticed that there wasn't a hot dog place here and you guys didn't have any options. So I created this bar, this hot dog bar, so you guys could enjoy your hot dogs however you choose without judgment. If you want to put fluff on your hot dog, you can do it.
You're making me cry. Oh my gosh, my eye.
I want to say thank you to my sister and our stakeholders, probably mom and dad, and Maya.
Just so you know, mom and dad would never help you open a hot dog bar.
That is true. They would not be.
Maybe they would.
I don't think they'd help me open a hot dog bar.
Okay. Get your act together, Vivian.
So I finished my speech. Now I'm giving the scissors to the mayor. Or we do it together. The mayor and I are like together. And we cut the scissors.
Because you have an obsession with the bear. Yes. Okay. So then you physically cut the ribbon. Everybody applauds. There's, before you cut the ribbon, though, we want to get photos.
Yes.
Okay. So whoever needs to be in the photos, whether it's your team, all the hot dog makers, get them back there and then take a photo op. Because this is the thing, we're going to want you to capitalize on it. And the press release that you send after the event, post-event, is going to include that photo.
Yes.
Okay. So you want the papers to pick that up, and that's going to be, you're going to attach press release, photo, good to go. And
so you're going to be sending out, real quick, so you're going to be sending out 2 press releases, one announcing the event, and then you're going to do another one post-event saying, oh, we had our event. It was so good. You guys should have been there, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so because then at the, and here's the thing, y'all, if that sounds like too much work and that's going to deter you, don't do the press release afterwards. That's fine. 100% up to you. However, why would you not take advantage of that opportunity, right? It's free press. It's not advertising that you're coming out of pocket for. And so plus what it does is it leads into at the very bottom where the reporter or whoever shares it can say the so-and-so, the hot dog shop is now open and, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., whatever it is. So it just kind of leads people into knowing that now your business is legitimately open and ready to go.
Yeah. And it's named Hot Dog, but like DAWG.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
All right. So now you've done the official ribbon cutting, you've gotten the pictures, all of that good stuff. You've said your speech. Everyone is great. And then you just welcome them. Like I would just say, we welcome you to stick around for X, Y, and Z, or people can disperse and eventually some people may go back in, snack a little more, and then leave.
So that's the cadence. I loved it.
If we had done a better example instead of my bad hot dog shop, if you're a boutique, I think it's a little easier. A perfect example, we went to Lounge With Us.
Yes.
One of our girlfriends owns a boutique in James Island. It's called Lounge With Us. And basically they do all of it's stylish clothing, but it's comfort.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's their whole thing. And they have a bra fitting section in the back because she's an official certified bra fitter. And so the nice thing about that, Chelsea, do you want to share with them kind of when we went to her grand opening, what that was like?
Yeah, so we got to go into the actual boutique, look around. She had things for sale already, so you could shop around too. There were refreshments, everyone was mingling. She did her speech, thanked everybody, said this is why I created the business. And after that speech, I don't remember if she had an actual ribbon to cut.
I think she did. I think we left a little early, but the
Mhm.
nice thing about it was, for one, it allowed her to showcase all of her products inside. And
Yes.
also, she was walking around during that time, and her mom was too. And then I think she had 1 or 2 workers there as well, but they were walking around. It was a little bit, the space wasn't huge, but they were walking around telling or enticing people to go all the way to the back. They were like,
Yes.
hey, go to the very back because that's where the bra fitting station is. And that way you could see what their selection is. You could see just kind of like the process that, they go through on that.
Yeah.
So I think they did a very good job of having people move through so that way you got the full experience and you were able to see what their full service was. And then the other part is she had a very cute little like cake, a little bit of like, and it was about the opening, congratulations. You guys can do cupcakes. You could do whatever else you can get. If you want, one of the things that I love seeing when people do these things, you can hire these local bakers that actually do those cool cookies.
Yeah.
Like with people's logos on them or like a particular thing. So for your hot dog shop, we would have done hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs on there.
No, I have an even better idea. A hot dog cake. So like a cake shaped as hot dogs. So people would be like, oh, I have a hot dog. And they bite into it and it's cake. Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we would do stuff. You could do stuff like that. And then also, I'm trying to think at the front, she had, because she was dealing with a little bit more of a limited space, she had all her refreshments and snacks and everything outdoors.
Yeah.
What was brilliant about that part, let me tell you, is she's in a mall strip kind of building. And so when you naturally are driving by and you see a bunch of people like, just gathered and it seems like they have cups in their hand and they're eating stuff, you're kind of like, what's going on over there? So I'm sure she pulled some people that were just driving by because they saw the new sign and were thinking, what's that store all about?
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure she had like, was it like a balloon setup? But it was a perfect photo op.
Yeah, I can't remember. But those balloon arcs, yeah, all that stuff, brilliant. I mean, you can even make, y'all, I've done this before for photo ops when I went to, we were at an event. You can actually make frames that look like Facebook posts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like an Instagram post. Yeah.
So you could get something customized that would just encourage people to take a photo and then tag you in it, right?
You could do a giveaway. Like there's a lot of options. But the point is you want to keep people invested in what's going on, because if they're just standing around waiting for you to give your speech and to cut the ribbon, it's awkward. People are going to leave.
Yeah. And even, if you're thinking, I'm an insurance agency and I just opened my store and that's kind of like boring.
Yeah.
Me and my insurance agency, I always pick on them.
Yeah.
I know. Well, because I think it's always a tough sell because it is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say I just opened the doors. What I would do then is not just have them come into the building, but strategically place the food in one area and the drink in another or something. So that way you're forcing people to kind of go through your, to utilize all the space, but also strategically place your brochures. Yeah. Your business cards, right? So those are things that you can do to just kind of help with that. And you can do that no matter if you have a business that's snooze fest or one that's, hot dogs and super exciting.
Yeah. I'd like to clarify, we are not saying that any of your small businesses are snooze fest.
No, I just think some of them are a little more like they're not as glamorous, right?
Yeah,
so everyone, we glamorize stuff like boutiques and all that because we're like, oh, it must be so much fun to sell clothes. I mean, trust me, y'all, it's probably not as fun as we think it is. It's a business, right? So yeah, I was just saying, if you think it's going to be something where you're like, well, how am I going to get people to move through my space?
Yeah.
you just have to stop and think about it and think, where can I strategically place certain things to get them to kind of move around?
Yeah. Well, I think we hit all of our points. So if you have, again, it doesn't have to just be a grand opening. You could have a new location. Maybe you're like franchising now, so you have a new store location. Great idea. Or you've renovated your location. It doesn't just have to be a grand opening, but definitely consider ribbon cuttings. Definitely consider going through your chamber. Now, again, we are specifically talking about our Summerville chamber here in South Carolina. Your chamber might work differently. Just do the research and see what they offer in your specific area.
And listen, y'all, if you are anywhere near the Charleston, South Carolina area, invite us to your ribbon cutting. We love supporting businesses. And so we won't be able to make all of them, but I promise you, Chelsea and I were just talking today, there's something going on this weekend that we want to go out and support. So if you need any advice or, want to invite us out, hit us up.
Absolutely.
Email us.
And make sure that you follow, share, like, subscribe, all of the things. Please leave us a 5-star review so that other small businesses will be able to help us. And let us know if you have done a ribbon cutting, or again, if you're nearby, invite us to your ribbon cutting. That would be wonderful. And go be the best SOB you can be.